I found two men in fake uniforms with their hands on my son. They were about to learn a terrible lesson about crossing a federal agent. My 15-year-old, Jake, stood on the curb. His head was bowed, shoulders slumped, metal cuffs biting into his wrists. Two men in black vests marked Community Patrol flanked him, postures inflated with a false sense of command. One had a firm grip on Jake's elbow. "Sir, stay back," the taller one barked as I approached. "This is an association enforcement action." I looked past him to my son's face, pale, eyes wide with a fear no child should know. A cold, focused clarity washed over me. "Before we go further, let me know where you're watching from. Comment your country below." To understand how this could happen, you need the background. I'm Marcus Thorne. My job requires discretion, so I live quietly. I don't throw weight around. This seemed to infuriate our HOA board chair, Victoria Clark. She governed through capricious rules and social pressure. When others complained about arbitrary fines or sudden safety ordinances, I didn't argue. I requested the legally required documentation. I quoted the actual covenants. I became a quiet, immovable object in the path of her unchecked control. So when she couldn't intimidate me, she targeted my son. That afternoon, Jake was walking home from soccer practice. Daylight, public sidewalk. Victoria saw him, decided he was loitering near the community mailboxes, and invoked a youth conduct code that existed only in her mind. When Jake, rightly, refused to give personal details to a stranger, she called her security. These two men responded. No legal authority, just costumes and confidence. They detained my minor child, put him in restraints, and never once called his parents or the police. When I arrived, the scene was surreal. "He'll remain detained pending review," the shorter man stated, as if reading from a bad script. "That is my son," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "You will remove those cuffs now." The man smirked. "This is HOA jurisdiction, sir. It doesn't concern you." That's when it crystallized. This wasn't overreach, it was a felony in progress, and they had no idea the man they were speaking to was the last person on earth they should have provoked. I didn't shout. I focused on Jake. "Look at me, bud. You're okay. You haven't done anything wrong." He met my gaze, a flicker of hope breaking through the terror. The guard tightened his grip. "Final warning. Step away. Release my child." Each word with a deliberate hammer strike. The second man stepped forward, puffing out his chest. "We operate under board-authorized safety protocols." I asked the only question that mattered. "Cite the state statute granting you the power to detain a minor." Silence. They exchanged a blank look. I reached slowly into my inner jacket, deliberate, smooth. I withdrew my credential case and flipped it open, holding it at eye level. Marcus Thorne, Federal Bureau of Investigation. The color drained from the first man's face. His grip on Jake's arm went slack. The second man stiffened, his bravado cracking. Then he made his fatal error. "That doesn't override association authority," he stammered, defiance warring with panic. I felt the situation pivot from illegal to violently stupid. "Take the cuffs off. This is your last chance." "No." He then did the unthinkable. He shoved Jake forward, trying to create a barrier. Target a man's child, and you awaken something beyond law. I moved. A hard shove to the chest sent the defiant one staggering. He grabbed at me. I trapped his arm, pivoted, and drove him face first into the grass. The other lunged. A sharp strike to the throat, a knee to the leg, and he folded. I kept him down long enough to snatch the handcuff key from his belt. "Behind me, Jake," I said. The cuffs clicked open. The first man tried to rise. I was on him, a controlled takedown, an elbow to the shoulder, and he was back on the ground, gasping. Both men were neutralized, breathless, humiliated, finished. The street was now a gallery of staring neighbors and recording phones. I called emergency services, my voice steady. 2 individuals impersonating officers have unlawfully detained my minor son. Assault has occurred. Suspects are subdued. Send police and medical. Sirens began to wail in the distance. Their play acting was over. The real police arrived with professional efficiency. They saw the scene. 2 men in tactical gear on the ground, a teenager with red marks on his wrists, a crowd of witnesses. An officer went straight to Jake. "You all right, son?" Jake nodded, voice small. "They just grabbed me. I was just walking home." That was all the context needed. The officers isolated the imposters. When they tried to sputter about HOA policy, a detective shut them down. Homeowners associations don't detain children. Sit down and be quiet. I presented my credentials. The shift was immediate. Not preferential treatment, but a stark understanding of the severity. This was now a federal agent reporting the false imprisonment of his child. The investigation that followed was merciless. Subpoenaed HOA emails revealed Victoria Clark's direct orders: detain the Thorn Boy until compliant. Drafted policies created to justify the action, never voted on, never legally filed. It was a premeditated act of intimidation. The 2 pretend officers were charged with false imprisonment, impersonation, and assault on a minor. They accepted plea deals, each receiving 5 years in state prison. Victoria Clark was not shielded by her title. She was arrested and charged with conspiracy, child endangerment, and falsifying official documents. The evidence was incontrovertible. She was sentenced to 22 years in prison and ordered to pay substantial restitution. The HOA collapsed under lawsuits and mass resignations. The neighborhood was freed of her petty tyranny. That night, I checked on Jake. "Dad?" he asked quietly. "Am I in trouble?" "No, son," I said, my voice thick. "You did everything right. I'm the one who failed to protect you today." But as I turned out his light, I understood the deeper truths. Authority is a tool for protection, never a weapon for persecution. Some people confuse a title with a license to terrorize. They forget that true power lies in justice, not in handcuffs placed on a child.
If you believe in protecting the innocent from corrupt power, show your support. Hit the like button for Winds of Thought. It ensures stories like this continue to be told.